This is not good. This is not good.
Sorry.
This is unbelievable. You know, are you recording now? Well, let's figure out if it's. God forbid the people that run the equipment.
Would you like to start the
okay,
interview?
But are you okay? Are you ready?
I think I'm okay. Hi, This isn't awkward at all. I'm Julian.
And I'm Jo Koy, and together we're the Julian and Jo Koy show.
That would be good from 104.7 Kiss FM. It's kind of funny you say that because you actually were you in radio or someone offered you like a radio gig or something like that?
Yeah.
You're from Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Explain that real quick.
Well, I got into radio, but I didn't want to take that morning show or anything like that.
What did you do in radio?
I was the sidekick. I was the funny dude off to the right, you know? Always said something really quick and funny.
Are you allowed to say like what station or anything or what format?
It was 88.1. It was my favorite. It was the R&B.
Really?
You know, just like Malcolm right here behind the camera.
What's up, Malcolm? So what made you decide not to follow that path?
Because I knew I wanted to be a comic.
Right.
I wanted to be a stand-up comic, and I didn't want to get pigeonholed. And no disrespect to the game, but once you get that morning show, it's kind of like it's addicting. It's like the money's good, the hours are good.
Wait, you said are we talking about the same industry here?
Yeah,
you said the money's good.
Well, when you're really talented, they offer lots of money to keep you. No, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's a comfortable job. It's an easy job when you have the talent. You know what I'm saying? And the hours are great, and it's fun, and especially back then. During those times,
I would say back then, like I would say in a lot of professions, you could make a lot more money back then. I just find it interesting because most people, I would say a lot of people would say, oh, since let's say I want to do comedy, maybe I'll just do radio, right? And it'll help me get there.
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of friends that'll do that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny you stayed on your path, which is cool.
Yeah, well, see, let me explain why it was good for me at that my age. I was really, really young. You know what I mean? They're offering me a morning show where they're sending me to these remotes. And that's where they pay you. You know what I mean? That's where you make your good money is the remotes.
You know the game, man.
Oh yeah. And then I was like, oh, this is great. Like I'm in my 20s. I'm caking. You know what I mean? But I knew if I got too comfortable, I wouldn't chase my dream. So you have to be hungry. And I said no to it. I said no to a lot of things, man. It's crazy.
Really?
A lot. There's a lot of big shows that I turned down and a lot of gigs that I turned down because there was a particular direction I wanted to go with my stand-up.
That's cool, man. Right now we have Mr. Jo Koy. You can catch him all weekend long. You got a couple shows Friday, a couple shows Saturday, and then one show at 7 p.m. I'm going to catch that Sunday, Tempe Improv, TempeImprov.com. I saw you here last year. Obviously, you're hilarious.
You're going to make me cry.
Well, I don't want you to cry.
You make me cry every time.
But for people, because obviously the point of this is to pack the house. For people that maybe, what's the word I would use? Like your thing. Everyone has kind of a thing, right? They talk about, they make fun of themselves. Maybe they pick on the crowd. How would you describe that to people that haven't?
I think those two are one of the top descriptions. You know what I mean? I still like to go in. I like to show my craft. Like I love my improv skills, and but I also like my my storytelling skills. You know what I mean? Like that's I grew up watching Cosby and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, me too.
And that's the style of comedy that I enjoy. Is the relatable, self-deprecating, family, topics. You know what I mean? That's what I really enjoyed watching when I was a kid, and indirectly it inspired me to do what I do.
Do you ever have an issue? And I always wondered this because finding content, being that you're talking about real life. Let's say, for example, you're on the road, right? You're probably on the road a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every week.
Okay, every week. So if nothing interesting is happening in your life during that time, is it hard to pull content?
No, that's why I had a kid.
Okay, so just the answer is
that's the only reason why. I was like, man, my life is boring. Time to get a new life into my life. No, I'm joking.
Does he or she, does your kid travel with you?
Yeah. In the summer, he'll hit about 3 or 4 of my shows. You know what I mean? I love taking him on the road because it's fun to see my son sit off to the side of the stage, and he gets to see daddy really work. Taking him on the sets were fun, and it got to the point where he didn't like going, to see me tape anymore. You know what I mean? So he's starting to grow out of that, and just seeing him mature during this journey that I'm going through,
sure.
It's crazy because it's a different kind of dad. You know what I mean? I still have to try and be hip, cool dad and be on the road. And then I got to come home and have a reality check for my son.
Like I would think he couldn't take you seriously Because if you're my dad, which you are,
yeah.
If you're if you're my dad and I saw you on stage, right?
Yeah.
And you're goofing, I know that your job is to pretty much do that. You're pulling it out of just everyday life. I would have a hard time taking you seriously, right?
Yeah.
No,
but that's what I'm saying. That's that thing I have to do. I got to play this role over here, and then when I come home, I got to change it up for my son.
Yeah, but when you say go to your room, he actually listens to you.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me?
What are you gonna do?
Well, kill. Oh, I got the look. I know how to. I scare my son. It's pretty good.
Line.
Oh, he knows the line. Yeah. And my son's very funny. He's an old soul. He's gonna be talented. I can see something happening.
It's cool.
It's already starting right now.
Jo Koy right now. Tempe Improv, TempeImprov.com all weekend long. See this dude. So I was I try not to, like, sometimes I like to watch interviews. I don't want to watch all of them because it's a lot of the same questions.
Yeah.
But honestly speaking, like I was do you remember all your interviews?
Do I remember them?
Do you remember most of them?
No, not really.
Okay, do you remember the Breakfast Club out of New York City?
Yes.
Okay. They did an interview, and I love watching them.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just like drama. They interviewed you like 2 years ago. I think it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Okay.
And they're talking about the whole Asian thing.
Okay.
Number one, you're half white and half Filipino.
Half white, half Filipino. Yeah.
Right. And they were talking about the whole Asian. Do you remember this? And they didn't know. They basically thought that all Asians were the same. They thought Chinese spoke Asian. Do you remember this?
Who was that said that?
That was Envy. And I'm not talking about bad about anyone, but it actually gave me hope. I'm like, okay, these guys, maybe in some, they don't know everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's hope for me.
Yeah.
Like, did that, like, I guess what I'm saying is, do you find humor in everything? I mean, that at that point in time, did that, like, concern you or, like, bother you at all?
No, the thing is,
It looked a little awkward.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was fun banter, and it's here's the thing.
Do you remember? Because I thought it was staged. I first thought.
Oh, really? No, that's never staged.
I
with
saw
those
3
guys.
interviews. Just to find out more about you. I watched 3 interviews. That stuck out to me. The first thing in my head was staged, and then a minute 2 went on. This ain't staged.
Yeah.
Chinese is apparently we're all under the same umbrella.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? No, it doesn't bother me. It's just that's what's out there right now. And how do I say it, man? I can't. I'm a product of a military family from the 70s.
Sure.
So imagine. So I don't know how old you are, but I came from a time when I was the only Asian out there, and I was half. So I don't think you can relate because I was literally, my mom was like, she just came here.
You look Asian to me, dude.
I know. And the reason why I talk so much about being Asian on stage is because my mom and dad divorced when I was 9, 10. And my dad moved to Arizona. And I didn't have a dad. And I didn't see the white side. So I was raised by my mom and her sisters. And that's all I talk about. That's why I talk about it on stage. I never get deep with it. You know what I mean? I don't need to tell everybody that.
Sure.
And everyone thinks I'm playing that card. But it's like, that's all I know. And my dad knows that. He lives here and he knows that. You know what I mean? And we've dealt with it when I got older. But this is the stereotypes that I had to deal with when I was young. You know what I mean? Like I was that kid. That's why when I do this joke where I go, when people look at me, they don't know what I am, so they guess. And they're like, "Oh my God, what are you?" And I go, "I'm Filipino." And they're like, "Oh my God, you're Filipino. I love orange chicken." It's like that has nothing to do with me being Filipino.
So that statement right there, because that would maybe I'm too serious. That would bother the hell out of me.
Exactly.
That doesn't bother you.
No, I mean,
well, you're a comedian.
You gotta you can either let it bother you, but then you gotta also accept your ignorance too, to not know. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that you probably assume about a particular race also.
Not at all.
No,
I'm a very open-minded person.
You can't. I know you. I know you're very open-minded, but you can't sit there and say that there's not stereotypes or things that you do generally.
Sure.
With other races.
Sure. Okay.
And if you're gonna play that card, then it's I call it misdirection. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you meant to say that intentionally, but what I'm saying is people like to misdirect. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so Envy was a little ignorant at that time. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Because we're all ignorant in everything. You know what I mean? For me to sit here and call Malcolm out on something, you know what I mean? And everyone, if you know Malcolm is the good-looking guy from Jodeci.
Get around the camera,
he's
Malcolm.
The fourth member.
Show this good-looking
the one that
guy.
Doesn't really sing.
He's camera shy.
But he's the fourth member, so the group looked whole. But now he's working the camera. But you know what I mean? Like there's stuff. Stereotypes are funny for a reason because they're true. Okay.
Right. I always say that. Yeah, some stereotypes exist for a reason because there's part.
And no, you can't say some.
Some.
I'm gonna say all. Because they're general. There's a reason why. Like, someone didn't just wake up and look at an Asian guy and go, you know what? Bad driver. He didn't just do that. It's a compilation. You know what I mean? There's probably stats.
Of other people saying, oh, bad driver.
Bad driver, bad driver. And it just built up. You know what I mean? And you can say that for every race. And it just hurts because it's like, man, we take things too literal. You know what I mean? Okay. And if you could just laugh, you know what I mean?
You know, I wasn't mad about it, but it just, I mean, look, let's put it this way. It's the number one thing that stuck out of my head.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just thought I just had to ask you.
Yeah, I know. No, I feel for you, man. No, I don't feel for it. I feel you. But what I'm saying is,
Thank you.
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But, like, my whole thing is, like, okay, that's one guy that's ignorant. And envy is really, really cool. And there's other people like him. You know what I mean?
It's just funny because one of the people on that show, we're talking about more about them than you, but like one is half black and half Chinese.
Yeah.
You would know that then, you know? Like looking at you, I can tell you're half white, half Filipino. I already know.
Dude, I know a half white, half Filipino guy that has no idea about his Filipino roots. You know what I mean? All he knows is his white side. You know what I mean? And then do I blame him for that? You know what I mean? Like, do I get mad at, like, I remember offering him a particular dish that I love to eat, which is called sinigang. And I go, you want sinigang? He goes, what's that? Like, he was so white.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Do I hate him for that?
No, I'm not. Yeah.
So that's what I'm, like, kind of getting at, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But and it just sucks because I feel like we're so sensitive now. Like, everyone's so, like, now that we've gotten all this freedom from all this stuff that people had to really deal with, like real racism.
Sure.
Like what Michael Jackson had to deal with, and what James Brown had to deal with, and what all our Asian ancestors had to deal with. Sure. That's real racism. What we're dealing with,
no big deal.
It's not real, man.
Right.
Like, that wasn't offensive. That didn't come from a negative place. Like, envy wasn't. That was just him being ignorant. And
okay. Yeah. I didn't. I was just asking. Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, and I think we need to get back on that. Like, we got to understand. Like, yo, we're all one. And a perfect example is the Jabberwockies. You know what I mean? Like, they got white mask on and they're killing it. And if you were really ignorant in that audience, you would be like, yo, those black dudes can dance, until they take that bow and they all pull the mask off. And you're like, what?
Right.
He's Vietnamese.
Right. They're Asian, right?
He's Filipino.
Right.
And only he's black. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the time we live in now. But you would have never seen that 40 years ago. Ever. I guarantee it. You know what I mean?
Touché.
And that's real talk. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, that, I don't know. That's just my little, I guess I'm sitting on a little soapbox.
No, I like to hear this.
I was a product of that particular lashing. You know what I mean? People like to lash and not, they don't like to, I say misdirection. I said that earlier with you. And it's just like, if you don't call yourself out on anything, then you can't point fingers at anybody. You know what I mean? That's why I do what I do. Like, I'll do the Asian stereotype thing. If I have to squint my eyes to get a joke,
sure.
You know what I mean? And people are like, oh, that's offensive. Well, no, it's not, man. Because I'm doing a black joke like that.
Right.
And I'm doing a Mexican joke like that. And I talk about my mom about for 40 minutes. And I talk about myself. And if I'm going to do all that, then we're going to laugh at all of it together. And if you don't like it, then you can leave. You can bounce. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. You make a good point.
Yeah.
Now, is that something?
I'm sorry to do that.
No, please.
You started me on this little soapbox thing.
I like
but
it.
Like, it would have been different if Envy would have looked at him and he goes, and there's malice behind it when he said it.
No, I understand.
I thought y'all talk Chinese.
Right.
Like,
okay.
Yo, Mongolian beef, right?
I guess what I'm saying is I was amazed by the, what's the word you said earlier?
Ignorance.
The ignorance. I was amazed by it because I guess I expected, at that stage, at that level in the game, I expect them to know everything. Or, you expect certain people to know everything. Yeah. That's all. And I know that's not the right answer, but that's just kind of what came to my head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I automatically knew exactly what you were, but maybe because the way I was brought up. Does that make sense?
No, that makes total sense.
Right.
And I'm the same way, too. You know what I mean? Like, I know the difference between Koreans and because I grew up in Washington State, man. Like, that was like the melting pot of Asians in the 80s. Like, it was crazy. Like, and that's the only people I could really identify with because I didn't have my white side. They bounced on me.
Sure.
I didn't have an uncle. I didn't have an aunt. I didn't have grandparents on my white side. But I had a grandmother on my Filipino side. I had my mom, her sisters. My mom's sister is the one that named me Jo Koy. That's where Jo Koy came from. You know what I mean? So all that is where that was my influence. You know what I mean? That's why I identify with that side of my family so much. You know what I mean? And I surrounded myself with Asians because we all had like common things like rice. You know what I mean? Like eating rice in the morning. Like,
right.
you know, you say that to my white side, you say that to my dad. My dad's like,
right.
what are you talking about? Rice is only for dinner. And you put butter on it. You know what I mean?
Butter.
Yeah. Oh, dude, see? You don't see? There's the ignorance.
Never heard of that.
There's a little bit right there.
No, I would say that was okay.
No,
that's culture. That's culture right there.
By the way, ignorance is not a bad word. If you look up the definition, it just means you don't know. It's not knowing.
Okay.
And that's all that means.
That's a good point.
It's not a hateful word.
Right.
Idiot is a hateful word. You're an idiot. And to call somebody an idiot, no, not you, but if to call somebody an idiot for not knowing something that, you know what I mean, like genuinely not knowing, then I'm the bad person. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question. Is finding funny and everything?
This isn't funny at all.
It's pretty funny.
I'm going to start juggling.
Is finding the funny and everything, is that a trained technique? Is that something you can learn, or is that something innate?
I always
wanted to know that.
I always do this, like, because when we came in here, you were like, you know, all the interviews starting to sound the same? And one thing I hate is when I go into a radio station and they go, how do I set you up? And I'm like, don't set me up. Let's just run with it. I guarantee it's gonna be funny. Like, we are gonna run on whatever you throw my way. I guarantee it's gonna be funny. And that's why you know, Chelsea lately was so successful.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when Josh and I or Lonnie were behind that panel, man, we had nothing scripted, man. That was all off the top, man. Like, you know what I mean?
People don't even know that you were supposed to be he's supposed to be the original Chewie.
Yeah.
Right?
I was supposed to be
I think you're in a much better position.
No, like I told you, I turned that down.
No, you never mentioned that to me.
Chelsea and I, we met through John Lovitz, right? And John Lovitz was like, you have to meet Chelsea. She's hysterical. Watch. She goes, and then next thing you know, she's performing with us, and she enjoyed my style, and she was like, he started coming around, and she goes, I want you to be my sidekick on this show that we're developing. And I turned it down. And I remember she cursed me out on the phone. Like, you know, this is the worst mistake you ever made. You're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. Watch, you'll see, blah, blah, and hung up on me. And I remember going, oh, my God, I just made the worst mistake of my life.
Was that because you want to do your own thing?
Because I was like, I don't want to be a sidekick. I want to have my own show. And that was my goal. Like, I don't want to be a sidekick. And plus, like I said again, it would pigeonhole me. Like, I would have had to been on that set 5 days a week and sit on the panel and, you know what I mean, and get little throws to me. You know what I mean?
Right, but in contrast, though, that's got to be, I mean, it's actually a shout out to you because, you know, you never know, right? There's no guarantees.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting how you kind of are on that lane, and I guess you kind of knew that that's what you want to do, and you weren't, like, failure didn't come into your,
no, not at all. I knew I was going to fail. I was like, oh, I'll always have stand-up. You know what I mean? Always. Like, I'm going to die doing stand-up. I'm going to do what George Carlin did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to film my last
on
special.
Stage.
Yeah, that's my memoirs right now. You know what I mean? And but I knew that, and then she eventually called me anyways. You know what I mean? She called me like 4 months later after the show was like blowing up, and I was part of that show for almost 8 years. I was on it every week, so it was just like I was on it anyways. You know what I mean?
She's very sexy.
Huh?
She's very sexy.
Oh, she's beautiful, and she's a beautiful person, man.
She
gives so much back, man. She's so cool.
That's cool.
That's why you'll never see anyone bad talk her ever.
Right.
If you've interviewed anybody from that show, especially the original cast, like Heather McDonald, Sarah, Lonnie Love, Ross, Josh, you know what I mean, Jiffy, like Chris Fanjola, like you'll never hear us say anything bad about her. She was so good to us.
Very
so
cool.
good.
Jo Koy, Tempe Improv. You got to catch him all weekend long. It's TempeImprov.com. And then real quick, got to talk about the shoe game. We were talking about this before we started interviewing. Now, you are an Air Max collector or a J collector or both?
Air Max and J's. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, if you're going to collect Air Maxes right now, which ones?
The ones. Always the ones.
One?
Yeah.
No 90s?
Air Max. And I love this one with the gum sole.
Yeah.
I like this little throwback right here. This one's hot.
Yeah, that's a good contrast.
Yeah, man. This is my favorite. So I'll swoop about 4 or 5 of these.
And
but then I give them away.
Yeah. So I was at your last show. You didn't give any away? You didn't
even
mention it.
No one yelled for it.
So you just have them like in the back. If someone says something, you might actually go to the back and say, hey, yo, I got some.
No, I'll give it. Yeah, it usually happens in line. Like when I'm taking pictures of people, there's always that one guy that knows that I do it.
Are you giving away?
I don't announce it on stage. I don't go, hey, by the way, I'm going to give these away because I want to go home with them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But there's always someone that they all know that I usually give them. Not usually, I always do. So.
Are you giving away like good stuff like J's and?
That's all I bring. I don't. It's not a box. I give away the ones I'm wearing on. I'll give these away.
Oh, okay.
These. I mean, look at the wear and tear on that. You're looking at about 4 days worth of walking.
4 days.
So it's already gonna be retired. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, that's not an incentive to go see your show.
Oh, by the way, that's another thing I'm addicted to: socks. When you're being raised by a mom that's from Asia, and she just came to this country, and she doesn't know that socks and shoes are a very important thing.
Sure.
When you go to school, because she wore flip-flops when she went to school. Bro, I had no socks. And man, it was like homeless city.
Your mom sent you barefoot?
I would literally, no, I had hand-me-down socks for my brother, and he's like a size 11. Here I am in the 7th grade rocking these tube socks, by the way. And just like, that's why I have like this addiction to socks too. So my sock game is on point.
Still.
Just want to brag.
Need
I have thousands. I'm not even joking right now. I have thousands of pairs of socks.
You need to find you a sock sponsor. Shout out to any sock
sponsors. My son is living the life of a dad that didn't have anything growing up. So my son's underwear game and sock game is incredible. My son rocks Calvin Klein. What do they call the boxer briefs?
Uh-huh.
My son, yo.
You take care of him, yeah.
Dude,
I mean, very
he
wise.
looks amazing. I'm like, bro, you don't even know. I didn't even have those. What are those called? What are those, underwear? I didn't even have those. I had like two pair.
So
flip them out to make it last for 4 days.
You might get some socks. You might get some.
I'm not giving my socks.
Well, you never know. You might get some Jordans. Don't ask for it though at a show. That's a pretty big incentive right there. Tempe Improv, TempeImprov.com. Get these tickets. Jo Koy. Friday, 2 shows. Saturday, 2 shows. Sunday, 1 show. I'll see you Sunday. And yeah, man, fun for everyone, man. Dude is hilarious. You do a great mom. Your impression of your mother, hilarious.
Thank you.
You know what? Don't even do it.
No, I won't.
You want them to see it.
Thank you.
Yes. Jo Koy, Tempe Improv. Catch him this weekend, all right?